Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're welcome, sir. We'll move on to down the agenda here. First order of business is approval of regular meeting minutes from June 2nd, 2025.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written, as presented.
A second. Motion by Tim, second by George. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Next up is approval and ratification of bills. If there aren't any questions or concerns about the bills as presented,
I make a motion that we accept it as written.
motion by Clayton, do I have a second?
I second it.
Second by Tootie. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We're going to move on now to public comment on possible uses of municipal road aid funds for fiscal year 25-26. This time I'll open the floor to public comment. If anyone has any suggestions on how to use the municipal road funds. Okay. All right. Next up is public comment on possible uses of local government economic assistance fund, the mineral.
Mayor, you only have officially closed the floor.
Okay. So we don't need a motion and a second for that, do we? We just close comments? Okay. All right, so time for public comments on the municipal road aid funds is officially closed. Next up is public comment on possible uses of local government economic assistance fund, mineral tax fund for fiscal year 25-26. The floor is now open for public comments. No public comments. We'll close the time for comments on the economic assistance fund. Next up is public comment on adoption of the proposed municipal budget for fiscal year 25-26. Floor is now open for anyone who wants to address the adoption of the municipal budget for fiscal year 25-26. Time for comment is officially closed. Next up, second and final reading of the amended budget ordinance for fiscal year 24-25. Ms. Sabrina.
Let me make sure I have the right one here. Okay, an ordinance amending the City of Leitchfield, Kentucky annual budget for the fiscal year July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2025 by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government. Whereas the City of Leitchfield, Kentucky has heretofore adopted its budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024 and ending June 30, 2025 by ordinance enacted January 21st, 2025, and whereas it is necessary to amend the said budget ordinance in order to more accurately reflect the revenues and expenditures of the City of Leitchfield, Kentucky in certain budget categories, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Leitchfield, Kentucky as follows, that Section 1 and 2 of the herein above described budget ordinance are amended to read as follows, with deleted portions being indicated by a single line drawn through them and added portions being indicated by a solid line drawn beneath them. Projected cash at June 30, 2024, general fund, $11,839,237 goes to $13,469,810 on utility fund, from $12,442,661 to $12,838,521. Tourism fund, $1,627,799 to $2,059,843. On revenue, net profit returns stays the same at $780,000. Occupational taxes goes from $3 million to $3,130,000. Property taxes from $856,000 to $944,200. Insurance license taxes from $1,423,000 to $1,270,000. Franchise taxes from $310,000 to $400,000. Application and regulatory fees stays the same at $266,600. Other licenses from $900 to $1,000. Restaurant taxes from $950,000 to $1 million in the general fund and $950,000 to $1 million in the tourism fund. Transfer of restaurant taxes in the general fund, negative $950,000 to negative $1 million. Hotel taxes in the general fund, $10,000 stays the same, and tourism fund stays the same at $10,000. Transfer of hotel taxes stays the same in the general fund, negative $10,000. Mineral severance income stays the same, $22,400. Rental income from $54,150 to $54,000. Other revenue from $156,000 to $1,598,166. Interest income from $300,050 to $350,050. Sale of property, $61,000 to $85,300. Grant income, general fund from $1,641,017 to $955,375. And the tourism fund from $1,550 to $2,700. HB 413 base court revenue stays the same at $10,300. Incentive pay goes from $86,000 to $84,800. IDC contribution stays the same at $40,000. Fire runs goes from 0 to $8,300. Grayson County fire dues stays the same at $148,150. State aid fire department goes from $11,500 to $15,000. Planning and zoning code enforcement permits and fees goes from $7,360 to $10,400. Municipal road aid stays the same at $135,600. Garbage pickup fees stays the same at $1,560,000. Solid waste dumping fees goes from $1,150,000 to $1,125,000. Recycling fees goes from $5,000 to $15,500. Animal shelter, animal control income goes from $96,750 to $94,500. Parks and recreational income from $189,480 to $166,350. Healthplex Center from $10 million to $0. In the utility fund, water sales from $2,496,050 to $2,424,050. Sewer sales from $1,663,808 to $1,663,390. Gas sales from $3,659,500 to $3,350,200. Grant income, $679,800 to $450,525. In the tourism fund, tourism aquatic center tourism other income from $48,700 to $53,445. Tourism aquatic center revenue from $244,500 to $284,500. Total current year revenue, general fund, $22,312,257 to $13,270,991. Utility fund from $8,499,158 to $7,888,165. Tourism fund, $1,254,750 to $1,350,645. Total revenue and carry forward, general fund, $34,151,494 to $26,740,801. Utility fund, $20,941,819 to $20,726,686. Tourism fund, $2,882,549 to $3,410,488. Expenditures in the general fund, general and admin, from $3,324,525 to $2,873,435. ABC control, $404,950 to $391,225. Industrial development stays the same at $133,650. Police department from $2,338,500 to $2,180,475. Fire department from $1,293,230 to $2,630,180. Planning and zoning from $375,400 to $370,400. Public Works Department from $6,023,677 to $5,666,560. Animal Shelter Animal Control from $509,110 to $485,610. Parks and Recreation, $939,655 to $889,805. Healthplex from $10 million to $3,000. In the Utility Fund, Water, $3,706,100 to $3,687,000. Sewer from $2,393,650 to $2,518,100. Gas, $3,115,275 to $2,868,875. Capital improvements from $3,319,639 to $2,336,450. Tourism in the Tourism Fund, $1,048,075 to $1,012,925. Tourism Aquatic Center from $828,400 to $867,200. Total current year expenses in the General Fund, $25,342,757 to $15,624,340. Utility Fund, $12,534,664 to $11,410,425. Tourism Fund, $1,876,475 to $1,880,125. Current year income or loss. General Fund, loss of $3,030,500 to a loss of $2,353,349. Utility Fund, loss of $4,035,506 to a loss of $3,522,260. Tourism Fund, loss of $621,725 to a loss of $529,480. Adjustment for non-cash budget depreciation items in the Utility Fund, $1,575,500 to $1,592,000. Projected ending cash balance with carry forward. General Fund, $8,808,737 to $11,116,461. The Utility Fund, $9,982,655 to $10,908,261. Tourism Fund, $1,006,074 to $1,530,363. Oh, wait, I got another part to read. This ordinance shall be in effect as of July 1st, 2025, and remain in effect unless sooner amended. June 30, 2020. No, that's not it. Oh, adopted the 16th day of June 2025 after first being read the second day of June 2025.
Okay.
There you go.
Any questions for Sabrina concerning the budget numbers? If not, I'll entertain a motion in a second, and then we'll have a roll call.
I make a motion. we
Motion by
accept
Clayton.
as read.
Do I have a second by Billy? Roll call, Tim?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Clay?
Aye.
Aye.
Terry?
Nay.
Billy? Aye. All right. Pass 5-1. All right. Next up is regulatory license fee for sale of alcoholic beverages, staying at 6% per the ordinance. This is just an informational item on the agenda. Okay. Next up is approval to allow the mayor to execute the paperwork for the health insurance renewal for fiscal year 25-26, along with approval to continue the HRA through McGregor to cover half the deductible.
I make that motion.
Mayor, I've got a question before we
Okay.
move on.
All right?
On the health insurance for employees, it looks like it's different in our packet than what was sent to us. So the one in our packet, is that correct?
The one in your packet is correct.
So our employees are going to have,
We're going to have, that's what I was going to interrupt before he made his motion there. I want you all to know. We're going to have two options this year. Last year, we looked at doing another policy that helped with the prescriptions a little more than the one we do now. So Jennifer has worked on that, so we're going to be offering an option that will better suit people, I guess you could say, that are on maintenance prescriptions. With our current one, you have to meet your deductible before it pays any of your prescriptions. With the option, there's going to be co-pays, so.
and it looks like on option 2 that there will also be, if they choose to participate in option 2, it's going to be a copay if they go to the doctor too, instead of
That is
a
correct,
complete
and that
out-of-pocket.
option will not have the HRA where the city pays half their deductible because the deductible is so much lower.
Okay, well, I'm glad to see that
Yeah.
we're giving employees options.
I think we'll have a lot of employees switch to that. Like I said, it's really going to help with the ones that are on routine prescriptions, so.
Okay, that's my only question.
All right, thank you. We got a motion on the floor from Clayton to accept this. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Terry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next up is approval to allow the mayor to execute the paperwork for renewal of the dental and vision insurance. These are policies fully paid by employees.
I make
There
that
was
motion.
no change to those this year. They stayed the same.
Okay.
I make the motion.
Motion by Clayton. Do I have a second?
I second it.
Second by Tootie. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next up is approval from the mayor to execute the paperwork for general liability, property, and workers' compensation insurance renewals for fiscal year 25-26.
And I can kind of go over those numbers just a little bit. The liability policy this year is going to be $189,378.58. And I did go back and look and add in everything that we've paid this year since we paid the initial premium last year. So that policy is actually an increase of almost $5,700. The property's going to be $100,776.57. Which is not reflected. The number's a little bit lower, I think, in the packet, but when I pulled up the new one today, I think we've added some equipment that wasn't in the initial packet that was sent back last month. So that's up about $250. So I'm sure it's for some equipment that we've bought that we've added since they sent that initial renewal out. That policy is actually up about $8,000. The workers' comp, the new policy is going to be $44,698.29, which is a decrease of $9,514 from last year. So that's a good number.
For the same coverage?
Same coverage, yes.
Okay, any other questions for Lori concerning the general liability, property, and workman's comp insurance? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept it. Motion by Billy.
Second.
Second by George. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next up, Sabrina, second and final reading of the proposed budget ordinance for fiscal year 25-26.
Okay. An ordinance adopting the City of Litchfield, Kentucky annual budget for the fiscal year July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2026 by estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government. Whereas the annual budget proposal and message have been prepared and delivered to the City Council of the City of Leitchfield, Kentucky for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026 by the mayor of the city. Whereas the City Council has reviewed the said budget proposal and budget message and made all modifications which were deemed appropriate. Now therefore be it ordained by the City of Leitchfield, Kentucky as follows, that the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026 is hereby adopted as follows. Projected cash, June 30, 2025, general fund, $11,116,461, utility fund, $10,908,261, tourism fund, $1,530,363, revenue, net profit return, $760,000, occupational taxes, $2,850,000, property taxes, $944,200, insurance license taxes, $1,270,000, franchise taxes, $400,000, ABC application and regulatory fees, $266,600, other licenses, $900, restaurant taxes in the general fund, $1 million, tourism fund, $1 million, transfer of restaurant taxes in the general fund, negative $1 million, hotel taxes, general fund, $10,000, tourism fund, $10,000, transfer of hotel taxes, general fund, negative $10,000, mineral severance income, $22,400, rental income, $54,000, other revenue, $191,800, interest income, $200,050, sale of property, $52,000, grant income in the general fund, $518,500, in the tourism fund, $1,550. In the general fund, HB 413 base court revenue, $10,300, incentive pay, $85,000, IDC contributions, 0, fire runs, 0, Grayson County fire dues, $148,150, state aid fire department, $11,500, Planning and zoning code enforcement permits and fees, $7,300. Municipal road aid, $145,000. Garbage pickup fees, $1,575,000. Solid waste dumping fees, $1,170,000. Recycling fees, $15,500. Animal shelter, animal control revenue, $98,500. Parks and recreational income, $250,650. Healthplex Center, $10 million. The utility fund, water sales, $2,245,750. Sewer sales, $2,374,600. Gas sales, $3,245,350. Grant income, $1,202,139. And the tourism fund, tourism other income, $47,400. Tourism aquatic center revenue, $284,500. Total current year revenue, general fund, $20,447,350. Utility fund, $9,067,839. Tourism fund, $1,343,450. Total revenue and carry forward. General fund, $32,163,811. Utility fund, $19,976,100. Tourism fund, $2,873,813. Expenditures, general and admin. General fund, $2,396,950. Alcohol beverage control, $428,925. Industrial development, $133,650. Police department, $2,399,925. Fire department, $1,284,730. Planning and zoning code enforcement, $344,100. Public works department, $5,211,410. Animal shelter, animal control, $506,910. Parks and recreation, $1,222,050. Healthplex center, $10 million. In the utility fund, water, $3,830,300. Sewer, $2,632,450. Gas, $3,230,775. Capital improvements, $3,599,239. In the tourism fund, tourism, $1,095,550. Tourism aquatic center, $887,900. Total current year expenses, general fund, $23,928,650. Utility fund, $13,292,764. Tourism fund, $1,983,450. Current year net income or loss in the general fund, loss of $2,881,300. Utility fund, loss of $4,224,925. Tourism fund, loss of $640,000. Adjustment for non-cash budget items, depreciation in the utility fund, $1,625,000. Projected ending cash balance with carry forward, general fund, $8,235,161. Utility fund, $8,308,336. Tourism fund, $890,363. That this ordinance shall be in effect as of July 1, 2025, and remain in effect unless sooner amended until June 30, 2026, is adopted this 16th day of June 2025 after first being read on the second day of June 2025.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Sabrina? For the proposed budget ordinance? If not, I'll entertain a motion in a second to.
I make a motion, we accept it as read.
Motion by Clayton. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Tootie. All in favor?
Roll call.
Any
Roll call.
opposed? Roll call. I'm sorry. Tim? George?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I explain my vote, please?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll be voting nay on the proposed 25-26 budget. I don't feel like it is an accurate representation of the city's financial status due to underestimating, under allocating funds for different projects. There is no mention of the additional playground equipment, additional splash pad, allowing the minimal amount for the repair on the city lake, which we have to have the city lake. There's no question about that. The repairs have to be made. I would rather have put in more money and not used it than a minimal amount and have to keep amending the budget. Therefore, I will be voting nay.
Thank you.
We can always amend the budget.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, 5-1. All right, next up is a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute the 2025-2026 municipal road aid contract in the amount of $149,710.45.
I make that motion.
Motion by Clayton, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by George, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Second and final reading of an ordinance amending the compensation of the Code Enforcement Board. This is a discussion we had at our last meeting. And,
Summary of an ordinance amending an ordinance relating to compensation of Code Enforcement Board. Whereas the city of Litchfield may exercise its power in furtherance of public policy purposes. Whereas the city has the power to set reasonable compensation to those who are appointed to serve on boards for the city of Litchfield. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Litchfield, Kentucky, that amended ordinance 2023-02 passed on the 20th day of February 2023 shall be amended as follows, with added portions being underlined and deleted portions being indicated by a line drawn through them and encompassed by brackets enclosing them. Section 4, appointment of members, terms of office, removal from office, oath, and compensation. Members of the Code Enforcement Board shall be reimbursed for actual expenses shown by proof and compensated in the amount of $100 per month. The chairman of the board shall be compensated an additional $50 per month for their service as chair of the board. These increases shall be effective July 1st, 2025, duly enacted on the 16th day of June 2025, after first being read on the second day of June 2025.
All right, I know there was some conversation we had at the last meeting concerning this. I take that everyone's had the time to dwell on this and make a decision whether they see this as suitable or not. So if there's no questions, we'll entertain a motion in a second.
Mayor, can I ask Tyler just to go over their role,
Sure.
what they do, what kind of legality they have?
So for the Code Enforcement Board, they just, right now, we meet quarterly. They hear anything that we have with if we send out a petition for an unfit structure, if the property owner shows up, there's findings of fact that have to be made whether or not they allow more time to the property owner or proceed with any sort of remediation that would involve demolishing an unsafe structure. Although they're not required by statute, but we do have in our ordinance that anything that they do gets sent to the city council for approval. But, I mean, that's
Well,
the gist of the code enforcement.
I talked to the head of the board and some of the people, and they go out and look at properties. Gay goes out and looks at all the properties. She's out looking at properties. She's taking her time to go out, and her as a doctor, even she takes her time to go out and look at different ones of the properties and stuff. So I feel like that we need to give them the raise.
Tyler, what's the continuing education requirements for Code Enforcement Board?
There is none.
There is none.
Now, they went to one 2 years ago, am I right? 1 year, 2 years ago, they went to a meeting, and how often do they have to do that? Is that the
They're not
one time?
required.
That's just a one-time thing?
They're not required to do any.
Okay.
If they want to, they can,
Yes.
but they're not required.
Right.
Tyler, you work with these people every day, what's your recommendation?
I think a board like that, it's extremely difficult to get people willing to serve and to have people in those positions to make the decisions that they're making. Says a whole lot about those people, that they're willing to go on their own time and verify the situation at hand before making those decisions. And going forward, if and when we need to replace them, we need to have people that are interested in doing the position and doing it for the right reasons. And I feel like in order to have good people in positions, they need to be compensated.
Well done and well said, Tyler.
Is Dalton the administrator on that board?
No, that's still me. He does attend the meetings, and he gives the reports on what's going on with the properties, and, but as far as, I don't even know that you'd call it administrator. It's not like planning and zoning, but we both attend meetings.
Well, I make a motion that.
I've got one more thing to ask Tyler, please. Your code enforcement board is compensated. Did you mean to say that you felt like there should be an increase in compensation?
Yes.
Okay.
I make that motion.
I will second.
Motion by Clayton, second by Tim. All in favor?
It'd actually be a roll call because
Roll
it's about
call. Okay,
ordinance.
I'm sorry. Tim? George?
Aye.
Aye.
Bill? Thank you. All right, second and final reading of an ordinance amending the compensation of the Board of Adjustments. Arlene?
Summary of an amendment to an ordinance involving compensation for the Board of Adjustments. Whereas on July 19th, 1999, the City of Litchfield, Kentucky enacted an ordinance providing for the creation of a planning and zoning board, which said ordinance provided compensation for those members serving on the Planning Commission. And whereas in order to adjust pay provided, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Litchfield, Kentucky, that ordinance 99-6 passed on 7/19/99 and amended with ordinance 2020-08 and passed on 5/18/20 is hereby amended as follows, with deleted portions being indicated by a line drawn through them and encompassed by brackets enclosing them, with added portions being underlined. Each member of the Board of Adjustment shall be compensated at the rate of $100 per month commencing July 1st, 2025. The chairman of the Board of Adjustment shall be compensated at the rate of $150 per month commencing on July 1st, 2025. Duly enacted on this 16th day of June, 2025, after first being read on the 2nd day of June, 2025, said ordinance to be effective upon publication.
Same question, Tyler.
So Board of Adjustments, obviously, we meet once a quarter as well. They do have in the ordinance, they can meet every month, but we just don't because there hasn't been a lot of things to utilize them for. On occasion, we have met more than 4 times a year, but they are required to have continuing education by state statute. And as of the end of this month, legislation passed a bill requiring additional education for planning and zoning. The impact of planning, zoning policies and procedures on housing supply and accessibility is now going to be a required training that they have to have. I feel like the board is underutilized, and I say that because they have powers that give latitude to certain parts of our ordinance that only the Board of Adjustments can make. It's no fault of theirs, it's just people don't know that is available all the time. They have, their decisions are final order. You know, the Planning Commission, they meet more often and usually have more things, but they don't make final decisions. They vote on what they think is right. They send a recommendation to the council, and you all decide whether or not to allow or not allow what's being brought to you. Board of Adjustments is final order on any decision they make. We did budget in for them to have additional training than what's already required by the state statute. I feel like we need to compensate them at the higher rate. It will be a lot more difficult for me to go to somebody and say, hey, you got to have more training, or we're asking you to have more training, and not give them more compensation for it.
Sounds like we need to do better on educating what their duties are.
Yes.
I make a motion that we give them the raise.
Second.
Motion by Clayton, second by George. Have a roll call. Tim?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Aye. Terry?
May I explain my vote? Understanding now what you're saying is that they are underutilized and the public does not know how to use them, we do need to make do better as far as explaining their role. But based on what they have done, and it's not, I mean, they can't help whether or not there's a hearing.
Right.
But based on how many times that commission has met, opened the meeting, there was nothing on the agenda, no hearing, and then immediately closed, at this time, I will have to vote nay, just to be more economically feasible. So I'm nay.
Aye.
All right. 5-1. All right, next up is approval of the April 2025 financial statement we have in our packets there. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about the April financial statement? Sabrina's here, she can answer all your questions. If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept that.
I make a motion that we accept it.
Motion by Clayton, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tootie, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Approval from mayor to execute the fiscal year 25-26 contract with LTADD, which is Lincoln Trail Ad District for engineering services. And this is something that we started actually this year. The city's been able to benefit from our relationship with Lincoln Trail. They have hired an engineer, and they've been very helpful to us thus far. And this contract is basically a contract of what rates that they will charge for certain engineering services. And it's unchanged from last year. So if you guys feel like it's been advantageous for us to have that relationship with them, I'll entertain a motion in a second to accept that.
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion
Second
by
it.
Billy, second by Clayton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next up, results of bid opening for rock and asphalt materials, bituminous asphalt in place, excavation and earthwork, and concrete materials.
Yeah, in your all's packet today, we've been advertising for, a couple of weeks, like we do every year, to get a price from Scotty's or whoever wants to bid on it. And we opened them today, and I had one bid from IMI on our concrete and one bid from Scotty's on the blacktop and rock.
Hard
So,
to look over with.
yeah, the prices for it seem to be down just a little bit from last year, which is good for us, but my recommendation is we accept their bids.
I make that motion, we accept the bids.
I have a motion by Clayton. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Tootie. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And just for everyone's information who may be watching, those in the audience, you've noticed the construction that's been started around the square area for Blacktop. That will be going to the railroad tracks on the north end of town. Will be coming all the way to the bypass here on South Main. So it'll be a little inconvenience for the next little bit, but yeah, we'll get there.
It'd be nice, Clark, when you're done.
Yep, so. All right, next up is executive session. I need a motion and a second to enter executive session.
Mayor, I make that motion.
Motion by Tim, second by George. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And that's under KRS 61.8101F, personnel, and KRS 61.8101C, pending litigation update.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to come back into regular session.
I make a motion, we come back in regular session.
Second.
Do I have a second by George? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Arlene?
Just a quick upcap. We do quarterly updates on any pending litigation. So just gave an update on those pending cases that we have. Basically, everything is status quo at this time. There's no need to take any votes or actions at this time regarding that update. Also, we discussed the Economic Development Board. We should have a vote on next time to pass an interlocal agreement and some bylaws pertaining to that board. So there's no action to be taken at this time.
Thank you, Arlene. All right, we'll move on now to unfinished business. Billy?
No.
Terry?
I kind of have a combo of old, new.
Okay,
Can I?
sure.
All right. So with our Lincoln Trail Engineering Services, how much of that 30,000, did we reach that $30,000 limit?
No, what did we end up with last year? We'd have to
I'm
look.
not sure, I'd have to go back and look.
So
Scotty,
we-
do you remember, I think, and it's really not a contract. The contract is more
Right.
than anything for,
I want to say we're less than 15, aren't we?
yeah. Yeah. We used him on a drainage issue out Cave Mill and Brumfield. We've used him on some drainage issues on the square. We've used him on the pickleball drainage issues at the park out there.
That's a big thing, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it wasn't any more than that.
I'll get a
And-
number together and shoot it out to you all tomorrow.
And the contract isn't a contract that we will spend X amount of dollars. It's basically, that's a number they've come up with, and it's more the hourly or the by job rate than anything that we agree to.
Right.
It's basically just a show of support for Lincoln Trail.
I would like to see us utilize that engineer more in the next, I mean, I know that this past fiscal year was the first time that we actually committed to this. I think that, we're paying for this, we need to use it. And I would like to ask that I know that he's been out there to look at Firefighter Park for the pickleball drainage. He needs to assess, give his professional evaluation on the drainage issue. That's not the only section of Firefighter
No,
Park.
no.
I mean, you
There's-
can't, and we've talked about this for 2 years now, you can't even walk to the swings without wading through
Right.
water.
Yeah.
To the swings, through each of the sets of swings, you can't do that. And when we were out there for the crusade, we were walking around the building, I mean, it's everywhere. So can we talk to him about going out there to see, what else can we do? There has to be something else that we can do.
Yeah.
It's a flat area, it's not a well-drained area, but there have to be solutions out there somewhere. If we've got the resources, we need to use them.
Yeah.
And also, his professional opinion would also be beneficial at DeWitt. We've talked about this before too,
Right.
and we've all talked and said, well, I don't know what we could do. This is that engineer's expertise. We
Right.
need to pull in that expertise to give us a professional opinion. What can we do? There has to be something.
Yeah.
And then that's all I have on old.
And that way, part of the agreement, last year was the first year that Lincoln Trail had this engineer. Daniel London was kind of his brainchild. And we were actually the first county in the Lincoln Trail area to commit, which has given us more of a leg up. When we need him, he's going to be here. So when we ask for him, they have committed to, since we were one of the first to sign the contract, that we would kind of get a little preferential treatment when it came to doing things. So I think it'll work out good for us. And DeWitt, I agree. Wes and I, Scotty, have talked about that. This few months ago, we had that big rain. But it's kind of in a hole there, and there's not much direction to go, but we'll
And maybe
we'll
that
look at it.
engineer
Yeah.
can give us something we haven't thought about, but definitely also the areas at Firefighter Park.
Yeah, okay. We will do that. Okay, you got a new business, you want to go ahead and
Well, that was kind of the combo,
Okay, all right. Anything else?
not under old.
Okay. Tootie?
No, sir.
Clayton? George?
Yeah, we talked, I think the last time about extending the hours over to the transfer station. And Amanda called me today, and she was gonna get with you, Wes, and she said that she would be willing, maybe looking at Tuesdays and Thursdays, maybe extending it for like 1 hour, maybe through April, from April through October.
Okay.
So she did call me and request that she would be more than willing to do that, Wes, if you want to look more into it.
Yeah, we'll see if we can't work it out, or make it work, if that's okay with you all as far as that goes.
It's worth a try, yes.
Budget-wise.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're looking at
Do we need?
a couple hours overtime a week, probably, if we did that.
Yeah, and we may be able to work around that a little bit too.
Right.
Because I've got several people now that can work over there, so we can split it up some or make it work, so.
Yeah.
See what we can't figure out, maybe we can get it started by the 1st of July.
Okay. Yeah, Wes does have some people trained there in that job that previously wasn't, so we're in a little bit better shape with that than we were at one point, so.
I mean, we want to keep Amanda happy. I mean, I appreciate her
Exactly.
calling and was willing to do that.
Absolutely. Anything else, George?
No.
Tim?
No, sir.
Anybody over here?
The only thing I have, is an update on how many people have downloaded the app. I know you all ask about that frequently. There's 543 ISO downloads, 159 Android downloads, and then I'm gonna have to check with her on this, but there's 182 unique citizen accounts registered. I'm not really sure what that means, so I gotta figure that
So
one
about
out. But
800.
yeah, so it's really went up since last time I checked the numbers on it.
Good.
Early?
No.
Wes?
Not other than just you all start seeing blacktop crews around the neighborhoods. I think they started this past week, getting the roads ready and some of the streets. So hopefully in the next week or two, they'll have some blacktop in.
Thank you.
Chief Riley? Tyler?
No, sir.
All right. We'll move on to new business. Mayor gave the fire department approval to submit for the 2025 Good Neighbor Firefighter Safety Grant from State Farm. Chief Duval found out about this grant on 6/4 and is only open for 3 days. So they did fill that out and we sent that in. So I'm not sure what'll come of it, but worth a try, I think, so. All right, new business. Billy?
Didn't really know. Wes, how many people you use at East Main Market night? And do you use the same people Friday and Saturday night, Bo?
We're not up there on Friday night. We set it up here today on Friday.
Gotcha.
So Saturday night, I think there was 4 guys supposed to be. So usually 5 or 6 of us go up and take it all down.
You do that right after the concert, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we started about 10, probably it was 10:15, 10:30 this time, because they played a little bit longer Saturday than they normally do. So we was there till about 11:30 or something.
That's all I know.
All right. Terry?
When will the mosquito spraying start, Wesley? Because they are out
Thursday this week.
Thursday of this week.
Yeah.
Okay, they're out and they're out with a vengeance.
They're bad.
Another thing is, do we still have several of the smaller brown trash cans for individuals? So are we still able to submit requests through the app, or has that ended yet?
You can still submit through the app until the end of June, so.
Okay,
I think I just saw one on there that you submitted for Cave Mill Road.
yeah, we've had 3,
And
yeah,
I think they swapped that out this week or last week, but I'm
yeah,
not positive.
they did. There's a few more wanting it, but I'll just submit it.
That's fine.
That's all I have.
All right. Thanks, Terry. Tootie?
No, sir.
Clayton?
No, sir.
George?
Yeah, over on Marion Street at Lowe's Concrete, the old building there that they had their office in, that's been occupied by the addiction treatment facility down in the mall. And they was wondering if there's any way we could get that speed limit sign over there reduced a little. I talked to Chief Riley, and they said there's a lot of speeding going on. Said something maybe about some speed bumps, but I said, I don't know about the speed bumps, but I know when they open that new recovery center, they're probably gonna have to put a crosswalk over there too. So I know as you turn on Marion Street, the speed limit's 25, and I drove through there, and you got Key Oil Company, and then on up there by their office, they are occupying that now, so.
Drop it whatever you all vote on to drop it to.
I think it probably need to reduce the speed limit through there a little bit anyways.
Think 15 would be suitable,
I
George?
think 15, I know as you go on up to Johnson Street, I think it changes to 15 there, but not right there, where they're going to have a lot of activity going on.
Is everyone okay with lowering that to 15 through there?
Yes, sir.
Is it currently 35, Wes, or what is it currently?
25.
25.
It's 25?
They're just afraid somebody's gonna get hurt, you know.
Well, they're driving a lot faster than 25,
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
Put up 15, you hope they'll stay at 25.
It says 25 as you go up on Marion Street there on top of the hill, and it's 25 all the way through till you get close to Johnson Street, I believe it is.
David, can y'all do extra patrol or?
Yeah, we started today.
Thank you.
Maybe put a sign over there, our speed sign, that we might do, once we change it to 15, we can maybe put that up over there.
And maybe if we get a sign that said congested area,
Okay.
I know it's gonna be occupied a lot when they open that recovery center up.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of foot traffic over there at that point. Okay. Anything else, George?
No.
Tim?
No, sir.
Lori?
No.
Earlene? Wes? David?
No.
Tyler?
No, sir.
All right. All right, next up, we're going to open the floor to visitors. Lori, did you have anyone sign up to speak on behalf of the visitors? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council? Okay. Come up, if you would, come up to the podium where we can get the audio on it.
It should still be on.
Thank you, City Council, for letting me come to talk. My name is Bambi Snyder. I am not an employee of the city. If you know me, then you do know that I am a huge animal advocate. I am part of a nonprofit that offers low-cost spay and neuter to the citizens of Litchfield and Grayson County. And I also am a very dedicated volunteer to the Litchfield Animal Shelter. I am coming to you today with a concern that I have. And I am a very big person that if I come to you with a concern, I have proof. I have proof of my concern. So I will use this time to give a very brief background. Yesterday, I saw a post from a city official talking about an anonymous letter that had been handed to him. I commented on that post itself. I never questioned the letter's material. I have no idea what was in the letter. I don't know what it was about. My comment wasn't even directed to the material that was in this letter. It was public. It was on my own personal account on Facebook because we do have freedom of speech. Today, I had a city employee and another employee come to my house to inform me that they were there to give me a message. This message came from someone sitting in this room.
That would be me.
Did the message come from you, or was the message sent from you to another person, then sent to me? Because Harold, last I recall, you have my phone number, you have texted me, you have called me, but it wasn't from you. It may have originated from you.
It absolutely did.
Who did the message come from?
There's a gentleman in the room named Scotty Cantway.
Yes, that message come from Scotty Cantway.
Do you know Scotty's relationship with me and this council and what he does for the city?
I am under the understanding, which I may be incorrect, I am under the understanding that he is an employee of the city of Litchfield and that he corresponds with you on information within the city. I do not know his true title, nor have I ever seen a page or reviewed a page of his roles and responsibilities within the city council or the city of Litchfield. I will go ahead and continue. I was told by someone that I consider a friend that if I was to say anything publicly ill against Mayor Miller, Scotty Cantway, any of you sitting on the council or the city of Litchfield, that a department that I volunteer for, nor have I never been paid by the city, but you all have got lots of my money, the city will be done. Insinuating you all will be done with the Litchfield Animal Shelter, and that who I consider friends, and I watch them work very diligently, and I also use money out of my pocket to help them, would be without jobs. But they couldn't say anything in fear of retribution. I don't stand for that.
That was not, the last thing you mentioned there was not told to any city employee here that they would be fired or they should be scared of any retribution.
I do understand that. Was it insinuated, sir?
It wasn't
What did
insinuated,
mean?
it was stated factually.
It was stated factually?
Exactly.
That if I was not given this message,
No. What was to be stated to you, the gist of the message is that I expect the same level of decorum and the ability to follow the rules as every other city employee, full-time, part-time, volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
If you're volunteering at this city, if you're working for the city, you're representing this city.
okay, sir, can you please tell me what this is in regards to? Because it seemed to come after a letter.
I don't have anything to talk to you or anybody in this room about the contents of that letter.
Mayor Miller, you sent an employee of your city to come give me a message. Could you not reach me on your own to give me your own message?
I didn't ask anybody to come and give you a message. I sent the message to the employees of the animal shelter, actually the department head of the animal shelter.
Was it given?
Because in the end, the volunteers that she allows to volunteer down there are expected to have the same level of decorum and follow the same rules that anybody that works for this city do. And I don't think that's too much to ask. And part of that is to not to be on Facebook naming names of anybody on this council or myself when you don't have any clue what you're talking about. And that's the bottom line, that's period. That's the end of the
So are you saying
message.
something that I do at home on my free time, freedom of speech?
No, that ain't what I said.
I'm
just
sorry, I'm
simply-
not following what you
I
said.
simply said that someone that volunteers, that works for any department in the city, is expected to follow the same rules of decorum and the same rules as any employee of this city. As a volunteer, you are still a representative of this city because you're allowed to come on city property and work and be a part of what's going on in this town.
So, sir, Mayor Miller, do you go that it was okay to send someone else to me to give me a message?
I didn't send anyone to you to give you a message. Did anybody in this room, did I ask, or did Scotty ask anyone in this room to go and give this lady a message?
I'll speak on that.
All right.
Please go.
I got word today stating that I needed to tell Bambi Snyder that if she says an ill word about mayor, city council, anyone that has any affiliation with the city or the city as a whole, the city would just be done. That was it. I was told about a post, and I don't know the post. I honestly have no clue. And I did not do this over the phone, and I did not do this in text, because I know who she is as a person. I knew she was gonna be very, very, very pissed off, to be honest. So I thought it was the right thing to do, to talk to her in person, because that's what I would want somebody to do to me, is talk to me in person. So that's what I had done. She had questions. I told her I could not answer any of the questions that she had asked. I said, this is what I got told. It is what it is. So I can't answer any of her questions. I don't. The first thing that I did ask her, I said, what did you post? She said, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know. I honest to God, I do not know. I was like, but there was a post. What did you say on it? She couldn't provide anything. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't make no post. So I was like, well, I'm doing what I got told to do. And like I said, I didn't do that message. I didn't do it over the phone, because like I said, if anyone knows Baby, she's very opinionated and she cares about the show, very passionate, but I was just very straightforward, and I couldn't give her any answers, because I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you, Christina. Are you comfortable as a department head, people that are volunteering, working with you at the city, that you allow, because we don't ask you to give us complete oversight of everything that goes on day to day at that shelter. Are you comfortable with someone that's volunteering for you to be on Facebook using the name of members of this commission, this council that sits here, or myself? Is that something that you would approve of?
No. But
Okay. It was brought to your attention to handle it. That's why it was brought to your attention.
I don't know what post you're talking about.
Mayor, I feel like this is getting into personnel issues that probably should not be addressed. I mean, that should be addressed between the mayor and employees in a private setting and not at a
Absolutely.
public meeting.
And Bambi called me today, and I returned the call. You did not answer. So.
Did not receive a call from you, sir.
Okay,
I
well,
will-
we can,
I will hand over my phone.
we
I have
can,
you saved.
we can drag the call. I called you from the city hall number.
Probably, if that came up as spam, I did not answer that, sir.
Okay,
You usually text and call me from your cell phone.
right.
Yes.
Bottom line is, we expect the volunteers to follow the same rules when it comes to decorum and integrity that we expect out of every employee of the city, volunteer or not.
And
That's the bottom line.
yes, and I agree with that.
Okay, thank you.
So, sir, I agree with that too, but again, I am very confused. I'm also confused that's saying that you can volunteer. And yes, during your time of volunteering, I do present myself as very professional and handle matters. What I do at my home after I'm done volunteering, as you do at your home when you finish your job, is completely up to you. As I will say, for some sitting on the council, I have some very private messages you have sent me that you would hate to have made public, but I can do that as well, along with the videos you have sent me.
That sounds like a threat.
It is no threat.
Okay.
It's the
Do you have
honest
anything
truth.
else? Do you have anything else that applies to this, exactly what we're talking about now?
I have one thing just to finish up, sir.
Okay.
That would be, for whatever reason, what is contained in the letter is apparently very, very important because of the steps that you all have taken
That's none
to
of your
go
concern.
forth.
That's none of your concern. Absolutely none of your concern.
I'm sorry, sir, just as a citizen, I feel like anything that is brought to the council is a concern of not just me, but any citizen.
The council is aware of what's in the letter. And it's a personnel issue, and it has nothing to do with any other employee of this city.
I understand that, sir. I'm just bringing forth the context, that was what was discussed when all of this happened.
Do you have anything else that pertains to the message that was sent to you today?
I will have a lot to say later, sir.
Okay. We'll be looking forward to it.
I can't wait.
All right.
I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you for letting me attend, and thank you for letting me speak.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
My name is Stephanie Hack. I do not live in city limits. I live in the county. I am married to Roy Hack, the Assistant Chief of the Leitchfield Fire Department. I also am employed at the Grayson County Clerk's Office, and I volunteer. For the last 3 years, I've been the president of the Leitchfield Fire Department Auxiliary. Today, my boss showed up at my house telling me that I was being accused of writing the letter to all of you all.
If she
said
told
it
you
was being
that, she
addressed.
misspoke.
Okay.
No one that I'm aware of has questioned anything to do with you about writing the
Okay,
letter.
because I just wanted to come to you all and say, I don't know what this letter says. Honest to God, I have no idea. There's something about a good old boys club. And saying that I'm in any way involved in this could risk my husband's career. He's been on that fire department for 20 years, dedicated, almost 21 years. I have a career of, I've been at the clerk's office for going on 10 years. Also, my position as the president of the auxiliary. And I in no way would ever do something to that nature, to say something. I mean, Roy did come home and tell me what some of the letter said. I'm not aware of what all it said. I feel like that it was pretty bad, but I had nothing. And I will look every one of you all in the face and tell you, as God is my witness, this girl right here did not do that. I would not do that.
No one, as far as I'm aware of. And
Because I got accused of using county equipment to send the letter out, which did not happen. There's cameras in our office. They can watch them. I did not do this.
Right.
So I just wanted to make all of you aware of that, because I do not want this to reflect negatively on my husband whatsoever. But when my boss shows up on my doorstep saying that my name's been thrown into the hat of things that's going on, I felt utter panic, because one, how do you defend yourself with a letter that's not been signed? Just like, you can say I sent it, but how do I prove I did not? So, I mean, in any way, I do not want this to reflect negatively on my husband, who has dedicated 21 years to this city and to that fire department. And to my knowledge, he has never said anything negative toward that person either in all these years, no matter what's been going on. So I just wanted to bring that to your all's attention and make you aware that I am not responsible for writing that letter in no way, shape, or form.
I have not heard anyone intimate in any way that you wrote the letter.
Apparently, Kevin Henderson thinks I did, so.
Okay, well, that's between Kevin and
But it was
whoever.
not this girl. It was not this girl. I did not do that. I would not do that. I have enough respect for you all, and I also have enough respect for the gentleman that this letter pertained to, that I would not do that. I've known the
I
man
would
for
hope
over
so.
20 years.
I would hope you would.
And I also know how much my husband respects that man. So in no way did I have anything to do with that. And I felt obligated to come down here and let you all know that I would never, ever stir anything like that. I am a very outspoken person. I would come to each and every one of you all individually and let you know how I felt. And no disrespect to you, Tootie, but I did not know till this afternoon when Charlotte was sitting there. I probably knew, but I had forgotten that your first name was Raymond.
We kind of all forgot that too, sometimes.
So, until that point. So, I just wanted to let you all know that I am not the guilty party in this.
Duly noted.
I do not want that reflected back on my husband.
Duly noted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Other business, the next chamber luncheon will be on July 10th at noon. Please let Lori know no later than noon on Monday, July 7th, if you plan to attend. There will be a beautification committee meeting on July 7th at 5 p.m. That will precede our our next council
Do you all want to
meeting.
skip that one since we just did beautification? Or do you all want to go ahead and have another one?
I thought that we settled or made a lot of suggestions at the meeting that we
Yes.
just had with beautification, so.
It's just your all's turn. If you
So
all want to
can
skip,
you
we'll
all,
skip.
can you go through the list and add or check with,
Yes.
and
Are we
maybe,
on it this time?
we've already met Billy, but yeah,
Yeah, you all are beautification, Billy. The next,
No, I understand.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it changes at the first year, not.
change, yes.
Not at
The next one would be budget and finance, which I don't know that we want to do that one. So do we want to skip budget and finance and go to Parks and Rec? Which I'll get, Parks and Rec is actually.
That side.
This side over here. But, I will go through that list. I think I had shot you an email back that I'll go through that list that we talked about last time and get some more.
I just hate that we're not acknowledging, I mean, we didn't do anything for over a year
Yes,
on that, and I feel like it's kind of catch-up time.
I agree.
Yeah, we could find 2, 3 or 4 more to.
We gave them an
Oh,
entire
yeah,
list.
we've got,
and
we've got a
had-
bunch, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it'll work good.
Okay.
So we will do Parks and Rec next time, guys.
Okay. June 20th, for anyone in the audience or anyone watching, we will be unveiling a new sign. The sign is right over here on the wall for the baseball complex, naming it after Kelly Stevenson. Kelly, when the ballparks were being built, he was a huge help in seeing to some things that none of the rest of us knew about over there. I didn't realize until that time, and I'd known Kelly most of my life, that Kelly went to college to figure out how to grow grass and rake dirt. So he was a huge help then. I think it's fitting that we named the ballpark after him. So this Friday, the 20th at noon, we'll have an unveiling of the sign over there, and we would welcome and encourage anyone that can to come and be a part of that. Kelly has served a lot of years on this council in different areas. He's helped the city immensely over the years. So it's a fitting honor to him, and I would, as I say, encourage and hope that anybody that has a few moments would show up at noon on Friday to congratulate him
Where will this be located?
at the baseball park.
Like at where you turn in, because each
I think we
park
decided.
already has a name.
Yeah, just the
So
base,
the
there where
complex.
the parking lot of the baseball park starts, there's an island there that we're gonna put it in. It's got a couple of
Okay.
shrubs and things like that. So that's where I went down with Kelly. We looked at 2 or 3 different places that we could put it, and that's the one he picked out, and I think it's suitable. So that will be a good day for him. So I hope anybody that can will show up. If there aren't any more questions or concerns, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by George, second by Clayton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, guys.